Hey, hello everybody. Hello, my friends. How are you today? First of all, if you're brand new here, my name's Kelly Weiler. Sometimes I forget to introduce myself to those of you that are brand new. If you are new, please say hello. And even if it's on the replay, say hello so that I can see your name and maybe I can get to know you a little bit when your name pops up. You can also tell me where you're coming in from. That's always interesting to hear where people are viewing from. I am at the end of my day here. So, hello, Randy. How are you? Randy's new. Thanks for being here. So, I've got a couple of cameras going, so I'm reading my comments over here. If it seems like I'm not, if it seems like I'm not looking at you while I'm speaking, that's why. So I'm at the end of my day here, and I thought I would sneak on here and just show you. I was working on this piece. It's a piece that I've had sitting and waiting, and right before Christmas, like literally, I don't know if it was a day or two before Christmas, someone had got a little glimpse of it in the video that I was doing, and they wanted it, and there was no way I could get it done before Christmas. So I'm going to work on it now. There's like just a couple more things I have to do to it, and then it'll be finished. And I thought you guys would have fun, and maybe this will help some of you that are trying to get like a really authentic kind of a layered chippy look. This is a great paint finish to do on something that is really old, something that maybe if you want to cover something up, if it has tannins that are coming through, if it has a lot of imperfections and things like that, this is a perfect option. This particular piece did not have a ton of things wrong with it per se, but it had a lot of like just crazy colors on the underneath of it. It had pinks and greens and things like that. So I wanted to just kind of do something fun, and I still wanted to let some of that pink show through. So let's start off with what I started with. I started with the base coat, which has a little bit of Kissing Booth and Cowgirl Coral. And those undertones, the two colors that I just mentioned, you can pretty haphazardly just slap it on there because we're not going for a pristine finish, right? Thank you guys so much for sprinkling the love too. Thank you, Annette. She said she loves this piece. Jackie Willis is in the house, and she's coming in from Austin, Texas. And we have Randy Miller, who's also from Texas. And we have Randy Rosser. Hello, my friend. How are you? So what I did was just slap those two coats on the base coat. Kissing Booth, which is like a fuchsia pink, bright kind of pink, and then coral. Okay, then next I went through and did just another haphazard application of some kind of a cream. So I have either crinoline or it could be tarnished pearl, either one. Okay, then I go over top of it with layers of vintage linen. After I get that on, I applied that with knives, by the way. All of it. Just slathered on there with the knife. Then I applied my clear and dark wax. Now that the clear and dark wax is on there, which this is weird because people don't normally do this, but I do on this occasion. So on top of the already waxed piece, I'm going to take my vintage linen and I'm going to take my painter's knife. I sell these. These are Dion's knives. This one in particular, I was excited about because it is perfect for what I'm going to show you. And that is just layering this last coat on. So you're going to load your knife up, and you're just going to start pulling it. Can you see that? Now, any other time, if you're doing like a really pristine paint finish, you would not want to do paint over top of your wax. However, with this paint finish, we're going for a really thick, texturized, and chippy kind of a look. So it's going to, it'll be fine for this piece. Can you see that? So I'm going to just do this last bit. I already started on it. I'm going to kind of just stop myself because I was like, maybe people would like to see this. I mean, I don't know. Is this something that you would like to try? Have you tried this? All that good stuff. Hello, Rachel from New Orleans is in the house. She says, this is so pretty and I love doing jewelry armoires. I do too. Tasha, hello. She says she just finished a jewelry armoire the other day and it was her first. So, okay. So I am just doing the little lip. And you're going to... So you'll notice how thick it is, and I'll come in. Let me bring you in a little bit closer, guys, so you can get really up close and personal. So it's really giving it a really nice texturized, thick, chunky. So I wanted this to look aged, but if you notice, like I didn't want it to be dirty looking, okay? So if you see right here, it's aged and it's pretty, but once I do the second layer of the vintage linen, see this is vintage linen, but once I apply the dark wax to it, it gets real dark and old looking, which is fine, but I do want to go back over it and put these fun layers, and then it's going to add a little bit of more texture. So this is how I applied paint to this entire piece. I just applied really thick layers with a knife. Now your first coats, you don't necessarily have to apply with the knife, but you do want to put it on pretty thick. This is a great and perfect paint finish to do with paint that's getting older and it gets really thick. This is perfect for that. In fact, I had saved a few cans of my paint to do this with, because when it gets towards the bottom, I mean, you could reapply water if you wanted, but I think it's fun to use this is clay-based paint, so it is fun to take advantage of all that yummy texture and movement, right? And again, this is, if you're wondering, I think somebody was asking, I'm not sure where it was. This is a number 46 palette knife, and it's nice and wide. So it's perfect to use for furniture. Give me 1 second and I will read some of your comments. It's so fun because I know that y'all can't probably see it from where you're at, but if you were up close, you would see even little bits of the green that was on the very first layer of it before I started painting. It had like already some bright green, and then I added some of the other colors. So, but it's a great way for maybe people that they're afraid of color. This is a neutral, but yet there's nothing boring about this piece at all. It has a lot of character and a lot of interest. And the armoires, they're not like real expensive pieces that you know, from years ago. So you can pick these up relatively about anywhere really and give it a try. So I love it. I love all the movement that it has. Hello, Annette Thraw. She says she loves the texture. Vintage Magnolia. Hey there. Good to see you. Amber Moore. Moy is in the house. Thank you, Amber. She says she loves watching the furniture finishes. Tammy says I'm going to be doing my jewelry armoire in the next week. Oh, goodness. I'm so glad I came on here. Let's see. Amber is asking, did you use a brush at all? I think for my earlier coats. So there's a story behind this piece too. I debated whether I was gonna tell it or not because it's a little bit sad. But this was a piece that I painted for a custom order for somebody, and he had this painted for his wife, and he picked out her favorite colors were, she loved really bright, vibrant greens and pinks. So let me show you the handles that I had on it, the poles. So this is what the bottom was. Actually, I could probably show you up under here, but anyway, so I did green on the bottom and then pink on top, and then I did then I toned it down with dark wax. Okay. Well, so he surprised her with it and she loved it and all that good stuff. But what happened, first of all, the guy had passed away, and then she ended up passing away. And I mean, they're my age. They weren't elderly or anything. And so her son knew that I made this for her, and he brought it back to me. And so I just felt like I needed to do something different to it, you know, since that was specifically for her. I just felt like I had to do something different. Was I wrong? Do you guys think I should have left it? I just felt like that was a custom order and that was their thing, and I just wanted to, you know, leave that for them and honor them that way, I guess. I don't know, maybe that's silly. Is that your last step? So Sharon, my next step will just be to apply some clear wax over top of it, just to seal it one more good time, since I'm adding the vintage linen on top of that. Amber says I definitely would have painted over it as well. Yeah, I just thought, yeah, and I knew her for quite a few years too, so it was a little sad, but I wanted this to be happy, and you know, so it looks like a completely different piece now. So I want to point out right now the difference between the look at the top and the look at the bottom. You see how this last little layer of vintage linen just kind of slightly brightens it, but the way that you're applying it, dragging the knife over it, it just looks like it's completely has chipped off. So this top layer, which is brighter, it looks like newer paint. So like if this piece has been painted multiple times throughout the years, this would have been the last time it was painted, and it had been chipping off, but yet it's a little bit brighter because it's the newest layer, if that makes sense. But yeah, you guys can have a lot of fun applying paint with these knives. You could use, I know Dion uses her, well, she probably uses her knives now because these are hers, but she uses her, what's it called? Her scraper a lot. So paint scraper. So you could, really anything with a flat edge will do the trick. Hello, Sandy. She says this is looking so cool. Thank you, Vintage Magnolia. Yeah. Just the way it goes, huh? These are nice because it fits right in between. See how that brightens that up so it doesn't look dirty. You don't want it looking dirty. At least I didn't. Just wanted it to be chunky layers. It has a lot of fun layers. So like I said, those of you especially that have the clay-based paint, that's what I'm using. It is the DIY paint. It's clay-based. It gets really, really nice movement. Okay, so if you've not tried this, you have to try it. It's like I'm icing a cake. And it does. It looks like layers of icing on it. That's how thick it is. It's over the top, but I think it's good. I think it's good for this piece because it's this is where your jewelry is going to be, and we're allowed to be over the top on pieces like that if we want to be, right? I'll give you guys a close up here. And before I get done. So what are you all doing today? It's Saturday, and I'm just about finished up for the day. I should be cleaning up before I leave because it looks like a big old mess in here, but a lot of fun, a lot of texture. So something else you can do, guys, too, when you're using texture as you're painting, is you can totally put in. Let's say I wanted to slather on a bunch of the paint, right? And it has clay in it, and it's thick. I could slather that on, and then I could take anything that had texture to it, as far as a roller. You could take stamps and push into it to make little details if you wanted to. So think outside the box when you're doing stuff like this. Don't just have fun with it, guys. And when you start to have fun with pieces and play around, that's when like really, really cool things happen, and you kind of get past that mental thing about like, but what if no one likes it? But what if, right? I urge you guys to try it. Jump in and try it. All right. Very, very much the same as I teach in my art club. It's the same. It's art. It just happens to be on furniture rather than on canvas. All right. So remember that. Give yourself permission. If you need permission, I give you permission to have fun with it and try these different techniques. Let me check the questions. Let's see. Tasha says I'm working on a 2-piece armoire with hanging vines and hopefully flowers. Beautiful. If I can pull it off, I'm sure that you can. So, Amber more, blah. Amber, I cannot say more today. She says, Kelly, do you do a lot of furniture in your art group, or is it mostly canvases? It's mostly art. So, completely art centered. So, if I'm doing something, a piece of furniture, it definitely would have some kind of artistic finish. This actually could be something that I would do in there, just because I do consider this an artist. Like, I'm just not just straight painting. I'm doing special techniques to get a distinct look, feel, texture and all of that. So, but I definitely do teach more art classes in there. I do have some people that paint even the canvas art. They're painting it on their furniture. So, I mean, whatever you want to do, it's all good. And we do a lot of, so Amber's asking because the group's opening back up the end of the month. To be, I believe the 25th is opening date. But I have member's choice. So at any time, if somebody wants to learn something, they can just pop it in there and I put it right on the schedule. So it really goes by what all of the members want to do. They drive the bus in there. They drive that creative bus. So I just happen to be the one that I'm just doing what they're saying. So definitely, if they want more furniture art, then I would absolutely add that. Woohoo! Tasha says I can't wait to sign up for Intuitive Art. I cannot wait to see you in there. Those of you, if you are wanting to get into the group, you can go to girlupcycledstudio.com and fill out the email. You're going to go to where it says Creators Club. Make sure you get on the email list, and as soon as the doors open, you'll get first dibs to get in because it's only open for a few days. Yeah. Annette Thrall says she's painting her dresser. I made a purple with Hey Sailor and Kissing Booth. That's awesome. She says I'm also adding Old 57, my favorite, and Mermaid Tail. Keeping my fingers crossed it comes out halfway decent. Oh, and that I know it will. It'll be beautiful. Those colors are gorgeous together. You cannot go wrong. You can apply canvas art to furniture too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I even teach in there, like if we're doing something, like say we're doing an underpainting, you know, I might even point out like, ooh, wouldn't that be pretty as a finish on furniture, just like the background of a painting before the focal point gets on there. So all kind there, you can get inspiration for your furniture pieces from many places. Let's see if I hope I'm not making this noisy. I'm going to try to bring you guys in, give you a close up without taking it off of. Can you see that? Let's see if I can see if that'll blow up. I don't think that blew up, did it? Nope. Okay. Just on my end it did. Let's see. Isn't it cool? It just looks like it's been really weathered, and you know, I would say like kind of like that shabby chic. This is very shabby chic, I would say. Remember because the shabby chic, they have little pops of warm pinks and corals and things like that, right? So I'm going to go ahead and turn it. You can see the difference. I haven't put the white on this side yet. Not white, but vintage linen. And it's super thick. I might be able to show you. So this is what it looked like. I'm going to leave. There we go. You can see the bright pink and the green. I don't know if you can see that. So that's what it was originally when I painted it for my customer the first time. And I think I'll leave probably the inside, that pop of pink, and just clean up the edges and everything. And just continue with this. Hey Elizabeth, how are you? Amber says, I absolutely love it. Wow, love this piece, says Annette. Let's see. Vintage Magnolia says, from here, your finish on this armoire reminds me of a naked cake. Watching you ice it with your spatula too, right? Exactly. Exactly. So you can see what I mean by it looks dirty, kind of looks dirty here. Now, if you wanted to keep it like this, but you wanted to take away that kind of dirty, dingy look, you would go clean rag, dip it into clear wax, and start buffing it, and it'll pull off some of where it looks a little dirty. But I kind of want to keep it there, and I'm going to go over it with this nice little knife. This knife's perfect for this, you guys. So I was excited when she came out with these because I was like, oh, that's going to be good for, I knew it was going to be really, really good for the using on furniture. Unless you have a really great big canvas, this particular, that looks better already. This particular knife for me is a little bit too big for my canvas unless I'm doing the large ones, and then it's perfect. I like it for the larger pieces. Okay, so I'm going to just hit and miss. I'm going to just lightly drag it so it looks so much better. So you can see this little corner here. I did not apply the dark wax to that yet. So see, it was almost too bright. So it needed the dark wax, right, to really tone it. It's all about the layers. I know it seems like a lot of work, but oh my goodness, you guys, please know that it's worth it. Please know. I promise you, it is worth it. Magic, says Rosanna. Hey sis, what you doing? I'm glad you're here too, Elizabeth. So you can kind of, you notice I'm looking back at my camera and I'm kind of eyeballing it to see where it needs to be added. And I suppose you could dry brush, but if you dry brush, it's going to be a completely different finish. It won't look like chippy paint, which is what I want. So I would advise to get used to using different tools on your furniture. And you notice I'm taking my I almost said brush. I'm taking my knife and I'm going all directions so that it doesn't have like consistent lines, right? I want it to be very haphazard and, you know, just look like it naturally has aged. And I'm sure this won't be for everyone, but I think it is a nice solution for people that they want color, but they're afraid of color. You know what I'm saying? They want color, but they're afraid of it. So there's a little tiny pops underneath this, and there's plenty of movement, plenty of layers and interest. So you can get a lot out of painting with your texture and a lot of character with texture, even though you're seeing more of the neutrals. Let's see. My struggle is real with that dirty dark wax look. It's a fine line, says Vintage Magnolia. I love the dimension it gives, but it's tricky for me to master. So Vintage Magnolia, when you apply your dark wax, do you first apply clear wax? I would advise you to, and I did that on this one too. I almost always use clear wax first, then I go over top with dark wax, because that way it doesn't just absorb so much, right? You have to remember, especially when you're using with the chalky paints, this is clay-based paint, it's very matte, and it sucks everything up into it until you get some kind of a sealer. So by putting that coat on, that clear coat, you're already applying a clear sealer. Now if you still have trouble with that, I'm gonna say the next thing you could try is get your paint finish on there and cover it with clear sealer Big Top. Okay, so that's a hard coat, because what will happen is that will put a hard surface on there, and then when you go to apply your dark wax, it won't absorb at all. So you pretty much it'll go on really, really light, your dark wax. You can dark wax right over top of the clear seal. So have you tried any of those things by chance? Oh, it looks so much better with the brighter, doesn't it? That's what it needed. Very fun piece. So I will be working on quite a few furniture pieces, because it's bare bones in here right now. I don't have a lot. Most of my main focal artsy furniture pieces have sold. I have one vanity with some artwork on it. It's have sunflowers on it. I need to probably start posting that more. And then I have an armoire with a beautiful hand-painted soft florals in all warm tones, almost like southwestern warm tones. So what I'll do, I'll let this dry, and when I come back in, I will do clear wax over top of this, and then I'll just clean up my edges. I'll open up the drawers and the top. I need to clean around the lip of it. I don't know if I need to put maybe a vintage linen coat over top of that. I don't know. I'll just make it, marry into it really well, and that'll be it. So hopefully I can this finished up, and it'll be ready to go hopefully by next week. And then I've got some exciting new things coming. Did you all see the hutch that I posted? I don't know if you remember that, or if you saw that, but I've got a beautiful hutch. I put a picture of it on my page, asking people if I should get it. I got it. It was beautiful. So ornate. Does need some work, so I've got it in pieces. doing some reinforcement and gluing, and the not so fun part, you know, I try not to get pieces that need much work, but this one was just so ornate that I couldn't pass it up. So we'll get her up and running. But yeah, so that's what it's looking like. So you can tell it really just brightened it up. I think it just exactly what it needed. Any questions, gang? Questions, comments, anything I can help you with. Whenever you catch me here live, that is your time to ask me any questions you might have. Hi, Derek. Let's see. Hello, Mary. Chalky paint is the best. MK, so good at building texture. I do love texture. Okay, so back to Vintage Magnolia. I'm reading over here. She says, yes, I do, Kelly. And then I wipe back, but I still not natural or artistic looking. Okay, so I'm going to say when you apply your dark wax, why don't you try just applying it around the edges and then take another brush that's clean, maybe put clear wax in it and blend it into the middle so it's softer. Try that and see if that works for you. But all of your creases, anywhere there's a crease, it should be darker there. Or if you have a ornate, something ornate that has carvings, that it should be dark around there too. And then it should be lighter in places too. So maybe try that and see if that maybe helps. She says, I use the dark and decrepit dust, and I have used the dark waxes. Maybe a smaller brush for application. Could be. Maybe, and everybody has a different hand, right? So maybe you just have a heavier hand application. So, you could just practice on scrap wood. A lot of times I recommend people going into the Restore and get some cabinet doors. They have them super cheap there, and there's always tons of them. And use them as practice boards. Let's see. Tasha, are you sealing it? Yes, I'm going to seal it with clear wax after this dries. It is applied so thick that I won't be able to wax tonight. I mean, it's really, really thick application. So you'll want to let it sit and come back the next day and apply clear wax. Rosanna says, this is just beautiful and you make it look so easy. Well, keep practicing and it does become easy. I'll tell you what's hard is maneuvering around the floor. So it's getting a little rough these days. So I'm sure that's not my age. Could be, right? All right. Okay, she says, I will try that. Ian is asking for a close-up. Sure. Marie says, let's see, what? I hate just called you after watching on the replay. What? Marie, I don't know what you said. What'd you say? No. I don't know what you're saying, Marie. I did get some new clothing in, you guys. Check, this is something new that I got in. I love it. So I will be doing a sale soon. You need furniture dollies if you don't have them already. Yeah, I do. I need those little, hey. Hi, Carol. closer. Sorry for the bumpy ride. I'm going to take you in real super close if I can get my rear end out of the way here. So you can get, yeah, there's a lot of, here. I'm just going to take you off of the, hold on, I'm just going to remove this. And goodness, I don't know if I can, I don't think I can turn the camera. So if you look really closely, you can see how thick it is, and it's really, it's pretty chunky. I'll take you over here. You can see like right there how thick that is, but a lot of fun. Hi, Christine. Is that close? I don't know if you'll be able to pick up any of the green, but no, Jill, this is not salt wash. This is clay-based paint. And what I do, when it gets thicker, you know, when you get towards the end of a can, rather than, like, I could just add water if I wanted to. This is still wet, so it's going to look a little bit different. But rather than adding water, I just let it go thick. Now on the screen, it looks a little more brown over here than it is in real life, so I'm not real sure why. It looks better close up. Have you seen those low seats on wheels? Oh, girl, Ann, yes, I need that. Nancy is asking if it's cold in Ohio. It's chilly. It's chilly and snowy today, so can you do this type of painting with any colors? You could. You could do this with any colors. Okay, I'm going to turn this around and hold it up here. Yeah, you can do this with any colors. So if you want any, just think of like what your colors are going to look like when they're mixed together. So it's not, you don't want it to look like a circus. I mean, unless you're doing a circus theme, but you know what I mean? So think about your colors. And what I tell people is look around your house. So let's say you have this bright turquoise, like my hat, bright turquoise and maybe green accent, right? But you don't want that in your house. You do your undercolors with this, and then you can go over top of it with some kind of a neutral. So that could be faded burlap. Faded burlap's a beautiful neutral. The vintage linen, just any of the neutrals. And then the idea is you would still be using your colors in your home that are your accents, but it just won't be like in your face with the color, right? Hold on. Okay, can you hear me? Test, test, test. Let me know if you can hear me. Yes? Okay, it was on my Bluetooth. So that's what happened. Forgot I had my music on earlier. Yep. Okay, so good, we're good. All right, let me answer these last few questions and then we will see, where was it? Okay, here we go. Should you use a certain amount of different colors? You can do as many as you want. I think it gives it interest. So, I mean, this has this has like probably 4 colors on it. Now, granted, 2 of the colors are very muted, but, you know, play around with it. Do sample boards. If you're not sure, just do some sample boards so you don't waste your time doing a whole piece and then hate it. Okay, I think, is that it, guys? I don't see any more paint questions. Okay, I think that was the last one. All right, guys, sorry about the mistake. That's what happens. I'm not techie. All right, guys, I will see you all soon. And like I said, I'll be, if you can see back behind me, I've got the hutch tore apart. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece. So I'll be working on some more furniture coming up so that I can get ready for spring and get some more pieces on the website and all that good stuff. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.